mkusaman.tripod.com, mkusaman.tripod.com, has a bunch of all his writings that I really enjoyed. He had a lot of like travelogue writing he did. He was also on a podcast that I do where I interview a lot of local artists and artist friends that I run into. It's called Experimentally Ill. You can check that out. experimentallyIll.com, and it's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and stuff. I did 2 really good interviews with Mick. One from a couple of years ago. We did 2 hours. We get a ton of his life story. And then I think this past February, I sat down with him again. Things were a little bit tougher for Mick communicating. I mean, he hung in there. He had a brain tumor. I think they gave him like a week to live, and he was hung in there for it was something like 4 years, I think. And he still continued to make movies and get these really crazy sort of very shoestring, like low budget movies. And something he really impressed upon me in the podcast was he was trying to get. I mean, I think he was almost like 71 years old. I mean, big, guy, big into like 60s culture and all hippie culture and an outlaw poet. And he was really impressing upon me in our interview. Like, he was trying to get back to that feeling of childhood and getting friends together and having fun doing it. And he managed to do that. And then also, like, to me, he was most famous for getting into all these film festivals. He was just relentless about it. International stuff. He got into the Cannes short film corner like a few years ago. Just big into is like the themes are like archaeology, history, rock and roll. He was doing cartoons of the Beatles, and just a really good friend to us. I miss him a lot. I wish he was here because he was always the one that I was watching. Constantly like going out and performing poetry. There's a ton of stuff if you look up Mick Cusimano on YouTube. Like, there's a ton of stuff that I had never seen of him, like way back like in the 80s, doing all kinds of performance poetry. He had his troupe, Fires of Prometheus, and just always inspired me. So it was a privilege to get to know him. And also I got a shout out to my friend Lawrence Hawley, who also is a filmmaker friend of mine, and also kind of inspired Mick. That's how I met Mick, as my friend Lawrence was working at the Brookline Access TV station, and Mick would come in to put his cartoons on the channel. And we started working with Mick, and when Mick's friend Don Rieger, who was a big proponent of Mick's films, he passed away. He was having a really hard time, and my friend Lawrence was trying to have Mick kind of pick himself up and dust himself out and keep making movies. And I think Mick always really got a kick out of us. And we were younger than him, but he really treated us like a peer, like peers all the time, and really got a kick out of us like supporting him. So I think as creative people and myself, just trying to get over any obstacles that I have about shyness or doubting myself creatively, because Mick never doubted himself. Even having brain cancer, I mean, I was more depressed than he was when I saw him in February. So that's what I take away from with Mick Cusimano. So hope we can keep the spirit alive, keep doing shows like this. Thanks.